Hey guys, Jack here from Peach. So, we've trekked up into Van Nuys, is that correct pronunciation? Van Nuys? We're at the Schecter Custom Shop, and Adam here is going to kind of walk us through. Basically, I want to kind of take the journey of a guitar as it comes through the factory, so more or less from inception up through to completion. So that's what we're going to try and cover here.
Where we're at right now, this is where all the guitar bodies come from. As you could obviously see, there's different types of wood.
Yeah.
Obviously, the necks are also over here. You got different fretboards, everything like that. This is kind of where everything starts off. This is kind of the blanks of everything.
Pure wood storage, pure
if you guys
want to
get a look at some of the stuff here, but obviously you can see everything's kind of labeled. So, base, older. You got alder, roasted, whatever. Everything's just kind of laid out here, but these are all the blanks. This is where all the guitars are going to start at. So
just to clarify, we're in Custom Shop right now, but also does this material, is this kind of sourced for USA general production as well?
Yeah, so it's for all the USA Custom Shop, Masterworks, even that kind of stuff. So this is where everything's going to start off. Necks, bodies, fingerboards, just the raw material of it all. So this is where you're gonna start. You see some different tops that are up here too, some exotic woods. I mean, you got the Koas, you got some cool stabilized
My
tops.
eye was caught straight away by the stabilized top, which you may have seen on the channel before.
Couple.
We had a handful of these guitars.
Hold my
sure.
mic.
Sure.
Let's see if it is. I could even do it the right way. Maybe.
So can you just explain a little bit about what the actual, how do you come by material like this? What exactly are we looking at?
This would be a better Drew question, because he's going to be the one that would source it and be like, oh, we get it from this. I can give a basic. Drew!
We need extra support. I mean, just from my understanding of this, playing these guitars, obviously, aesthetically, they're super stunning, but I think
the cool thing about all these is it obviously uses the natural wood grain on it, so even if you do the same colors over and over again, no two are going to be the exact same. So it's a neat way to get something unique and something different. Obviously, these are the tops for it.
But tonally, it's doing something a little different as well, I guess, just because it's such a dense material.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. He probably can tell you exactly what the exact materials are.
Okay, well, we'll hang fire on that for now, maybe.
One part, whatever, maple birch. There's acrylic in it, obviously. There's a bunch of others, how they stain them, what they do. But he would
as if by magic. We've got Drew here, so
here's Drew.
You're the man who apparently knows best about the stabilized top situation.
So it's basically, this is a hybrid top. It's got epoxy mixed with stabilized like burls or poplar wood that's really soft. Or you look at it, it's just like a chunk, and then all the stuff's filled in with the super bright colored epoxy.
Here.
And tonally, I mean, what do you suggest this material kind of does to the guitar? Obviously, aesthetically, we know what it's doing, but...
I don't know for sure. It's not really... I don't think it has a drastic change. I mean, I think when you're replacing wood with epoxy, there's always going to be something there that's a little bit different, but I don't think it's ever been enough to really change it that much, you know what I mean? I don't think...
So it's just really showing off a little bit and doing something crazy from a cosmetic point of view.
To me, it fits a metal guitar pretty well. All those bright colors and stuff. It's just something a little bit different.
Sure. Okay. Well, I mean, that's what was standing out here from the wood supply. But
there's some other just Koa that we have here, other things like that too. But again,
can I hand that back to you?
Yep,
is that right?
This is where kind of all this stuff starts off, and then from here it's going to move over to the CNC.
Okay. So. And generally speaking, obviously custom orders, you guys must have a plethora of different options. Is there a kind of standardized spec that most people tend to gravitate to a Schecter for in terms of the wood configurations and stuff like that? If we were to just take a fairly standard model for you guys, what would you say?
I mean, traditionals and the newer like Tread Wembley 2s that we do, and the Nick Johnstons are probably the most common. And they're all kind of like a similar sort of profile, if you will. Alder bodies for most of it, maple necks for some, roasted maple for the others, the more like vintagey, aged looking ones. And then Nick Johnson's are Wenge, of course, but those are definitely the most popular. And I mean, these are Nick Johnson we're about to run now, so they're, we put out more of those than almost anything.
Okay.
Yeah, for the most part, the artist models are the ones that are always going to be the most standard because you're not modifying an artist model.
Spec.
But I mean, it's a custom shop. It's, hey, can I get 90% of this, 2% of that, and you know, whatever. Like, it's always mix and match.
And
Hey,
how
I
many
love
of
that,
those-
but
How many of those requests do you get?
have you ever counted that many?
Because we try to standardize like our order form with as many options as we can, and it's just too many. Because when you start breaking down different pick guards, then the different pickups, then the different covers, whether they're aged and what color, like it's just endless. So
Even the
you know,
configuration.
yeah,
You want
it's-
single, 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 hum, single, single, hum, single, hum, hum, single, hum. Like you can. That's all just
Yeah,
one.
that's
guitar.
always been the way
Yeah.
for you guys, really, hasn't it? I mean, has it expanded over time, or was that always the way that, as long as you guys have been here, have you always known it that way?
It's pretty much always been that way. I mean, it'd be great if everything was the exact same all the time because we could run a ton of them. But you know, everybody wants something a little bit different.
Sure.
Yeah, I would say that the one that's kind of that might even stand out a little bit more is we do still offer the standard. I shouldn't say standard, but the PT that was based off of the P. Townsend model that was built together. So it's the all black double humbucker with the maple neck.
Yep.
That was kind of the one that started all the Schecter guitars and becoming, you know, a custom shop piecing these parts together. So we still kind of offer that in the line as like a nod back to the original of that whole thing. So
Sure.
that one might be a standard that's still out there. That's all.
Yeah,
We
and
don't
that's-
modify too much, but
Yeah.
we do get quite a few of that just because it's kind of a heritage thing with us. So
It's a staple, that's
Yeah.
for sure. Anyway, sorry to interrupt with that question. So we're about to discuss
So
the
yeah,
CNC.
Drew has pulled up here. So a lot of the stuff that you see over there that goes from the wood body blanks, they come over here to the CNC machine where we read out and we get the basic shape, the same starting point for each guitar. That's the big point of having a CNC is that you're starting kind of with the same process.
We just want to set up the sanding guys for success, so everything comes off the CNC machines about as close as you can get them, you know, within pretty tight tolerances, and then all the final touches and stuff that's done by feel is in the sanding department.
Sure.
So to run through this one, these ones we're doing some Nick Johnston PTs, correct?
PT, so it's getting ready to do the back side of it, and it sort of does like an outer profile first, so you'll see what it's doing and recognize it almost right away.
So you can see all the different bits that it has up here at the top that it's going to pull out and automatically switch and run through.
And do you know what any of those numbers mean?
Yes. I mean, it's all the Cartesian coordinate system, so it's like if you had graph paper and you had the X and the Y, they're just different coordinates, so it's just those numbers put together. There's some other like macro codes and stuff in there too that do other things, but the majority of it is just point to point to point, you know.
Yeah,
basically.
The numbers at the top that first start on it, that's Nick's home address and phone number.
Oh, okay.
If you want to zoom in on that
Well,
one.
yeah, freeze frame
He
there.
enjoys fan mail and text.
So this process, how long are we going to be looking at for the completion?
This for two of these bodies on the back side is probably 20-ish minutes, somewhere around 20 minutes.
Okay.
So if you were to do this by hand, a couple hours.
Yeah.
And there's always that chance that something's off a little bit. You know,
Okay.
where when you do it with the CNC machine, I don't have to worry about any of that. As long as I set it up correctly, it's going to do what it's supposed to.
So you do know what all that means?
Yeah.
That's perfect. All right. So I guess we should maybe shimmy along and come back to this at hopefully by the time we conclude it, this might be done.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah, so onto stage
So let's see if
3.
we have. So again, like we were saying, all the necks and bodies will go through here, but all right, you can kind of see here. So when these do come out, you still have the parts where the bit had actually gone over. You can feel that on there, right?
Yeah.
So this gives you the basic shape, but it doesn't give you the final product. You still have to go through the sanding of it all. You know, there's bodies over there that I can show you. You might be able to see it better than on this one. Let's go take a look. That way we can kind of illustrate.
So these all Johnson PT necks right here, or
These are Nick's. Yep, these ones
Yeah.
are because of the Wenge with those inlays. But here, let's check out the body. Here you go. All right, so you can even see this. You might be able to see a little bit better. So when they come off the CNC, it's going to look like that. You see on this contour here how you can see where that bit goes by, and that's
Yeah.
what it leaves there. Now, obviously, you can't paint this and put this out to the public. So this is what it'd be if it came straight off a CNC. So that's why a lot of people think, oh, it's just a CNC and that's it, and that's really not it. That's one part of it, and you can see right here
And this
next
contour,
to it.
I mean, again, I don't know if it's just specific to this model. That contouring is quite, at least it looks this way with this unfinished state. It's quite a significant
Right.
contour, and I've always noticed that with Schecter guitars, they just have this extra sleek kind of feel to them. And you can see it right even there in the completely raw form.
And it looks cool. I mean, you only play as good as you look, so we got to make sure that we're doing extra. You know what
That's
I mean?
always been my concern.
I know. But yeah, you can see here. I don't know if you guys want to try to get a close-up of the between the two, that way you can kind of see. You wanna hold up the
Yes.
video? There you could actually kind of see it.
Good
Once
man,
they
yeah.
get that, then we have these two gentlemen over here that spend all day sanding, and you can see how that comes out. Now that's all done by hand too.
Yeah.
So.
Amazing.
And the sanding and shaping is, 99% of this guitar, but it's a little bit easier to see on this than on the Wenge neck.
Okay.
But here, let's walk over here and we can actually
yeah.
see them doing some sanding. So this is everybody's favorite sander. This is Jose. Jose loves sandpaper. So this is where he does all of the more than sanding, a lot of the shaping for the necks too. So as you saw there, how these things come off. These guys are gonna sit here with the bodies, and they're gonna sit here with the necks, and they're gonna sand and shape. And this is a marrow, yeah.
So how far are you into this particular neck right now?
Like halfway done. I still need to do some cleanup and make sure it fits into the body, but it's pretty much done.
And how long do you think you spend on an individual neck?
On this particular neck, I spent like 3 hours already,
And you're only halfway.
and I'm halfway.
I see why he's everyone's favorite. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Dedication.
Especially of the combination, because we have 3 lines of Wenge. We have the purple earth, and we have maple. So the combination is not really easy
No.
to blend.
Takes an experienced hand.
Yeah.
And again, I
Good
would
man.
say more so too. Yes, there's sanding is done, but a lot of this is what he's doing is also doing the neck shaping.
Yeah.
This profile here, the whole thing, and a lot of that has to do with this. So where you're like, oh, it's smooth, it looks good, and it's like, well,
It's not.
it's not good. He does a lot of that. So again, the CNC stuff gives you that kind of the starting point for it, and at least it's consistent every time.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to be sanding the same shape starting with, but it's up to them to really get this into.
And people, this is what people expect out of a custom level instrument. You want that personal touch. You even want it to be a little bit different from guitar to guitar.
We like to make them feel as best as we can, and I think Jose does the best job of doing all this stuff. So we're lucky to have him here doing it, and we're lucky he has the patience to spend 3 hours on half a neck. Here's everybody's favorite painter in the world.
Whoa.
Everybody.
Hi.
This is Chewy.
Chewy.
I am.
He is. Chewy,
Okay.
a little rough, whatever. Anyways,
Paintmeister.
Chewy is our custom shop painter. Chewy has quite the pedigree when it comes to painting guitars for some high-end folks.
So what are we looking at right here? Is this a Wembley?
This is a regular traditional. This is a gloss
Traditional.
finish guitar. Usually on the Wembleys we do a nitro finish.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
particular model gets both the regular gloss finish and a nitro finish, but that's what we got here is a traditional. We're putting everything out. We do it in batches of 8 as they go through. Like they'll transfer. This is the stuff they transferred to us today. Usually Wednesday's a good transfer day for them. Gives us time to tape them off and seal them. Do that. This is what they bring over today. We got it all prepped, taped up, sealed up, and we've got some sealed guitars down here. Once we seal them, we level them for the paint job to go on there so that the paint's got something to stick on. And this is the batch that we'll be painting next week. The batch we painted this week is right here, and in this fancy little box over here, we bake them. This again with it being
great.
with it being a gloss finish, we've got to bake the finish a little bit to make them nice and hard so that we
Solidify it,
can buff them out. So that's a third of our batch. We usually do 8 to 12 in a week. This is actually a really good week. We're doing 12 this week. So we're going to have 6 of those Lake Placid Blues, 6 of the Reds. Pump them out. We got some vintage white over there. It says regular old production around here. It ain't nothing different than painting nails or something.
Well, you
like
say that, but there's a lot of variety going on here. So are there any particular
Well, we're
finishes?
professionals. We do it for a living. I mean,
I wouldn't ever have doubted that, but Is there a particular material or some kind of general finishing process that's particularly difficult for you guys to work with, that you really don't relish the challenge of?
Well, again, we're really awesome. So I mean, we do it all around here. But the nitro finishes get a little difficult because nitro is a finicky finish to begin with. The shop gets a little cold sometimes in the winter. I mean, not where I'm from in Chicago, we get real cold. So I mean, this is not bad at all. But again, when you're dealing with something like finish, anytime it could be fickle. So the nitro is a little bit of a handful, but nothing we can't handle.
Sure.
We do it all. We do it every day. We're here. We love it. We come in with smiles. Our boss, have you met the president around here? That dude is awesome.
Not yet. We
Oh,
have in the
man.
past, but not today.
Wait till you
Well-
meet that dude. You're going to love him.
All right. Well, there's a man who's confident in his job. I love it.
They're buffing wheels. They spin at about 35 miles an hour, and it's just a finer grit as they go down. They start over there on that wheel, then pretty it up a little, then get into nooks and crannies, and that's the finishing wheel right there. It's a pretty simple process. Same thing. They are also, the buffing department is also putting out 8 to 12. Again, every department is aiming for that. So even though we've only got one guy doing this, he knows his job well, and we know he will, not only will he get them buffed, but he'll help us do other stuff. So we're multitasking around here, but again, we're awesome. That's what makes us awesome.
Now, all the stuff that you see in here is for the USA production, custom shop builds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's another level of this stuff that we do. It's called Masterworks, which does not involve CNC at all.
Okay,
So
okay.
this is all the hand carving, done by hand kind of
So
stuff.
special
So-
timber here reserved just for that.
Yes, actually, we have one guy that does it, and it's definitely a a unique process. Everything that you see here would be from the Masterworks. So
Wow.
no CNC on this. This is by hand. This is unique, one of a kind as you're going to possibly get on this stuff. So everything you see here, everything was placed by hand. Everything was sculpted by hand. I mean, you could see shapes that he's worked on here with carving that come out into this. Like,
Wow.
it's all. This is the most impressive of all the stuff.
Yeah, and it's hidden away right at the back.
Tetsu lives in his own world and it produces these things. And again, this skips the CNC process. This starts off as that block of wood, and
This
he's
is
going to
just
sit
true
there
artistry.
and cut and do. Yeah, so this is some next level stuff. You can see even here like the scallops on it and
Yeah.
different pieces. But yeah, these are all. I still think this one's pretty crazy because when you're doing this semi-hollow, making this chamber on here, you can even see the binding. It goes in on the inside of it as well.
So is this stuff like available for people to spec for themselves, or is this just your builder does whatever he feels he can get the materials to do?
There's both. We do let him create because it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But obviously, if there's certain builds that people start getting specific into, it does move from a custom build to a Masterworks build, which is where he would be doing this kind of stuff.
And
So
of course, I mean, these are all radically different, but
Correct.
on average, from conception to delivery, how long are we talking about? The process of one of these, one man by hand.
These ones are hard because it's not a unique process. Or it's not a standardized process.
Each
It's
one
a
is
unique
unique, yeah,
process.
yeah.
Every single one of them is going to be different. So to sit here and place this top takes a lot longer than something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're going to do a semi-hollow, to chamber this out, to place every single one of these in each direction and glue it and carve it, and these ones vary drastically depending on the extremity in which we're trying to customize this.
Sure.
I still think it's impressive, even just laying the inlays as straight as you're going to do on this kind of thing, or
Yeah.
cutting everything, like all that by hand is it's some next level stuff. These are all of his different woods that he's working on. So
And where is this guy? Where is this magician?
back over here, I don't know. It's in my hands. It's one time. So there you go.
Well, we will not disturb. So we're moving from paint to where do we go next?
So
Assembly,
here's the
or-
thing. Everything that you see out here is just to get the individual pieces. So you got the necks, you got the bodies, you got
Yeah.
the paint. Everything still has to be assembled, and that still happens over
Sure.
here.
Okay.
Yeah. And here's my best friend in the world. So again, like I said, everything out there is just to get
Right.
you the individual pieces. Everything gets assembled and set up right here by this man. This is Shigeki. As you can see, he's doing some fret work right now too. But every single guitar, whether it's Masterworks, USA Production, Custom Shop, whatever it's going to be out there, comes through here. He'll do the fretwork on it. He'll assemble everything here. This is where it all comes together. What you working on?
The side of the frets just rounded, so it feels good when you play.
Sure. So paint guys said they're putting out about 8 to 12 pieces a day. How many guitars come through your hands each day?
Each day, I think we finish in 2 to 4. It's small amount.
Yeah.
Because we
I can understand.
do all the detailed stuff. So we not set up to build like a 10, 20 a day.
No.
Yeah. So they probably doing as a batch, like a 7 in a day, then just go, and probably 10 comes out within a week. It's about same thing here. It's 10 in a week.
And it's just you.
Oh, actually, we have not here.
Oh, okay.
We have Jonathan too. Jonathan's really
Secret
good.
weapon.
Jonathan is assisting me. He's doing majority of body prepping, installing the strap button.
And have assemblies become more complex over time, or?
I do this long enough, so too long. So it's still difficult, always learning something and
Sure.
finding something new. So it's anything. It's not really easy at all. Yeah,
I don't imagine it is. No.
yeah.
Amazing.
But yeah, here, if you want to see some of the other stuff that we have up here.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
But
Thanks.
yeah, Shigeki's going to be the one that'll do all that. I think they were just looking at some of these where you can actually see some of the nitro finishes that they did on these. These are the final assembled
Yeah,
ones.
can you guys see that?
Probably see some of the cracking on this one. A couple of the hydro dips.
All custom shop assembly in one room.
Yep. So
Amazing.
this will all go in here, and then they'll be brought in here. Oh yeah, you can see the Prince guitar. That one's cool.
Who?
Prince's guitar. So that's the Prince guitar that
Oh,
we
oh,
built.
that guy, yeah.
That was Prince's actual guitar that he did play. If you flip over on the back, you actually see all the buckle rash and all that fun stuff.
Was this the one that this broke and they repaired?
Shigeki said almost all of them he had thrown and broke at one point or another and had to repair. I think he said this one was originally purple and they painted gold.
Tiny neck.
It is a tiny, tiny neck. But I think he sent it back last to have the Floyd put on it because originally it was a hardtail. But yeah, there you go. There's
Wow.
Prince's actual guitar
Nice.
that they built here. That's a Masterworks one. That's what we're talking about when you start getting that crazy. It becomes a Masterworks. So that would be one.
And
of them.
theoretically, is this something that somebody could order?
Build wise, yes. Could
Might
you
take
order
15
Prince's?
years, but-
Could you build Prince's guitar? No, you couldn't order Prince's
do it
guitar.
through Paisley
You'd have to do it through them. We don't.
They sell.
we-
They don't sell this one. That's
Uh-uh.
too crazy.
No, so we manufactured that one for him. We built those ones for him, but you can call up and order the Prince guitar. But if you want to do something as elaborate as that, sure. The only thing we have left really is pickups upstairs. If you guys want to run through there. This right here is Mike Crandall. He runs all of our pickup department stuff here. He'd be the best one to give you a run through of how everything works through here.
So I guess you guys have got quite an extensive range of pickups, starting with the kind of the lower output Pasadena stuff.
A lot of vintage stuff all the way to the super modern, super hot.
Sure, okay. So let's just walk through the journey.
Sure. We can start with the winding rooms, pretty much where everyone starts.
Yeah.
So we start with the bobbins. These actually are not pre-mades. These are bobbins that we press by hand. They start down on the laser machine downstairs. We cut these pieces out and we press them all together. Glue them, prep them, and we put them on the winding machines here. And depending on which pickup it is, it'll be a different wire gauge, it'll be a different amount of winds, and then once that's all done, we take it into the assembly room. And actually, do you have a fresh wind one? Without the tape? I can show you one in a second when everything
So, okay.
is actually wound
Literally
on
fresh
there.
off.
Yes.
Fresh
yes.
off the press, yeah.
Which one's this?
And what is this pickup model?
Yeah, this is the San Andreas 6 bridge.
Okay.
These are pretty modern, pretty hot. They use a ceramic magnets that gives it just a bit of extra punch, really tight low end.
Sure. Oh, there we go.
Here we go. So this is what all the wire looks like.
Doesn't get fresher than that.
Yeah. and basically tape it all off, and then we seal it up so that nothing gets damaged, and then we go and put it all together in the next room.
Sure. Awesome.
That's basically how we put together all of our humbuckers. The single coils are the same way, but we just far less steps. Nick Johnston Atomic, so it's basically put together the same way as that.
Sure. Ceramic once again, or is this
these are
Alnico?
actually Alnico.
Right.
These studs here are actually the magnets themselves. Versus on those, we're gonna have a bar magnet that we put in there. I can show you guys that in a minute. But the construction is exactly the same, just far less steps. This one's ready to go as is now. So once we put everything together, we put it through a wax bath and make sure we get most of the oxygen out of there so that nothing vibrates in there because you don't want any microphonics.
Sure.
And then we test them, box them up, ship them out.
And is that across the board, or do you guys make any unpotted?
No, everything we
Everything's
just wax. Yeah. I mean, most single coils we don't do vacuum sealing. We just usually sit them in the wax bath for about 15 to 30 minutes, depending on which one it is.
Okay.
But anything that's got like an output, like on these humbuckers here, like they're all vacuum sealed with wax
Sure.
to make sure we really get anything out of there, because you don't want any kind of microphonics going on.
All right. So, from the press, on to where do we go next?
We can go to the assembly room.
Through to assembly. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so this is the assembly room where we actually take the bobbins that we wound and then assemble them into the pickups that you guys see in your guitars. So this is basically the same model that he was making in there, just the neck version of it. Construction's fairly simple. 2 bobbins wound in series. We wire them to be in series. And a ceramic magnet down the middle there. And then wire it up, wax bath, and then we test it with a known good pickup to make sure that the polarity and everything's good.
And this is a pretty delicate process, I would imagine.
Fairly delicate. I mean, the wire is really, really thin and fragile, but once you get past that part, I mean, so long as you don't dent anything, it's pretty sturdy.
So how long are we talking here for fully
Start to
assembled
finish?
pickup? Yeah.
We usually do about 20 per day per person, so not too crazy.
Yeah.
If we were just to make one really quickly, you could probably do it in about a half hour, 45 minutes.
Okay. Well, I'll hand that back to you.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Not a
Appreciate your time. Cheers.
Good to meet you.